And you get two dad jokes. I still cut out this part, don't worry. Where in a hospital is the worst place to play hide and seek? Where?
I see you.
Ah, nice, nice. And then the fruits and vegetables, you nailed that one. The fruits and vegetables, they decide to throw a nighttime garden party. They string up the nightlights. They hire the best DJ in town. In the middle of the party, a tipsy carrot, and if it's for kids, an excited carrot, jumps up on the picnic table and yells, "Let us turn up the beat. Let us turn up the beat."
Got it.
Okay, good. Welcome to another episode of Angels, Positivity, and Love. I'm your host, Michael Andre Ford in Texas. Joining us is Suma, host of Infinite Being TV. You can find her at YouTube. She's got, I think it's 13,500 subscribers for her amazing channel. She is literally interviewing top experts from all over the globe. Call it a cultural experience if you wish. Her shows are super inquisitive. They're looking at the eternal questions, whether you want to call it spirituality, philosophy, you name it. Again, in-depth, mind-blowing conversations. Suma, welcome to the show. Welcome to the APL show.
Thank you so much, Michael. And I really appreciate your generous introduction.
And we've had a chance to chat before, and I've got to say it's been a pleasure every time. I'm very excited for you on what you're doing on the show, and also in the bigger picture in life. You're incredible with your focus. Can you describe how you got this focus? What made you pay attention this much to spirituality, mankind, where it's headed?
It's been, and it's very hard for me to describe because I started doing my YouTube channel almost 8 years ago. And when I started, it was a spontaneous thing. I didn't have any plan or agenda that this is what I want to do. I just followed an inner voice, which kept on pushing me that you have to go in this direction. And for me, this has been an exercise of just being present with the moment and not thinking about what I'm going to get out of it. But now looking back, I feel like it has transformed me so much, so deeply. Like this is the experience that has transformed me at a very deep level compared to anything else I've done. And I did it without any plan. So it's very interesting how spontaneous things can completely change you as a person.
Beautiful. Can you talk to us about the breadth of expertise you've had on the show? Can you paint the picture for someone who hasn't visited your channel yet?
Yeah, I was lucky to have a lot of guests, and at some point I want to interview also. I've been fortunate to be able to connect with some really amazing, incredible people from many different spectrum, like science, spirituality, healing, channelings, psychic reading, and I was able to explore a lot of different arenas in spirituality. And I usually tend to try to connect with people where if I have genuine, sincere interest in their work, I do a lot of research, what they are talking about, what are their interests, and then I reach out to them. And I just followed that pattern of connecting with someone where there's a genuine connection, where I really want to know what they have to say. So that's the pathway I followed. And the people that I met along the way, it's been quite a journey. I'm sure you feel the same way when you look back at your channel.
Definitely. Yeah, what you're saying resonates. And I want to mention, Dr. Leanne Whitney's been on. She was fantastic. You're super great about the interviews and the questions that you're asking. You usually keep them moving, and you kind of not force them, but you get them to share a lot during these interviews. So I want to make sure people feel encouraged to go over to your channel and check it out. Do you have 250 or so videos? Is that about right?
That's correct. And I feel like you also I get a sense that when you provide a space for people to express themselves, it's very
If I could be Mayor Baba and not talk for 40 years, I'd love to do it, only because I feel like it's each person has to ride their own bike. It's the most important. Like if I could just hold up a cue card with a question and be silent. Yeah, hearing my own voice. I had surgery once and my voice isn't the same. So when I hear it, I'm like, oh my God. But I've gotten over it. So with you, can you talk to us about your upbringing in whatever fashion that got you attuned to spirituality from whatever quadrants or quadrant, geographically? What also got you positioned to be in this spot that you could launch a show like this?
Right. So when I was growing up, I didn't really have a lot of interest in religion. To me, religion always came across as traditions, like people do certain rituals and follow certain traditions. I didn't feel like there was more to it. So that's why I was never drawn to religion. And when I was a kid, I always wanted to move to America. It was my biggest passion. And that's what most of my early life was focused around trying to move to America and make that happen. And once I moved here, when I finished my master's degree over here and started working, I felt like, and a lot of these things that I did, although it's like engineering world, analytical and everything, my bigger theme has been following my gut instinct, following my intuition. That has been my main, although I kind of, my 24/7 like job is very analytical and logical. At the very core, my pathway is intuition based.
Have you,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, have you noticed how it's shifted to year by year? Does it keep changing, expanding? How would you describe, again, your own internal navigation system and you listening? How has it grown over the years?
It has gotten a lot more clear, especially because of this work and especially because of interviewing a lot of people. It has been kind of like a secondhand effect while talking to so many different spiritual teachers and writers. So over time, it's not like for me, it's been more of intuition leads and rational mind follows. That has been a pattern. It's not like I'm completely against rational mind or logical thinking. I feel like when you have clarity of listening to your inner voice, you can use your rational mind more like an instrument rather than it being the master.
So maybe not in the driver's seat anymore, that the little voice up here, but you're following here. How about when you're doing the interviews? I mean, you've gotten pretty sensitive. I don't want to say too much. It's your world, your reality, your experience, your life path. But have you accidentally seen auras on a guest while you're interviewing him and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing an aura on the guest? What can you share that's happened a little bit? Did you know which way they were going to tell their story ahead of time? Has there been some synchronicities while you're interviewing?
I know you are very visual, where you see auras and things like that. But for me, I'm not that visual. If it's visual, it's more in the dream realm. But in the regular world, it's more, for me, it's more feeling based. It's more, I'm very sensitive about, I pick up a lot. I'm not sure what's the right word for it, but maybe like energetically or the vibe of the person. I feel like I'm in for that. That is my like, we all have different portals and different way to read people. So for me, that has been my portal kind of sort of.
Can you share with us a dream time experience that definitely was either profound, impacted you, or it was helpful to know ahead of time, something like that?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I've learned so much in my dream. It's I until I started this work, I didn't know that it's even possibly to have so many revelations in dream world. Especially some of things like it's very subtle in pointing out your blind spots that you never see in your waking life, and it opens up. It points out those blind spots in a very artistic stories kind of a way, rather than directly giving you the answer. It will show you a story where you kind of realize like, oh yeah, I do that. That's me. And so a lot of blind spot got revealed in some of the dreams I had. It's been yeah, I was not aware that it's possible to something that happens in an imaginary realm changes you in real world.
Can you share a specific example, something that you don't mind that everyone hears about?
Sure, yeah. I'll share one theme of dreams that I used to have, which has made me a lot more aware now as a person. So one theme of dreams that I used to always see was where I used to assume best of the person. And sometimes it's better not to assume anything, not to assume worst things, but not to assume best either. So one dream I saw that left a very strong impression on me was I was talking to a stranger on the street. Although my intuition said there is something off about this person, I was trying to paint a rosy picture. Oh no, I'll try to focus on the good, and I'll just there's good in everyone, and I'll just be friendly to him. Although my intuition was telling me, don't do that, this is something not good. And I was still being friendly. I invited him over to my place. And when he came into my place, a couple of minutes in chatting, I saw that he had a gun. And that's, I got really scared. I immediately regretted. I thought, I had this very sinking feeling. And in that dream, it turns out that he does murder me in that dream. It was a very scary dream. But when I was dying in the dream, there was a light that came in, and it showed me to, like, it was like a big lesson for me.
Yeah. It's like having the referees come in, say time out, and
Yeah,
stop the game for a second, just so you knew you were like, hey, take this seriously. I love it. I mean, obviously not the violence part, but lessons are lessons. And, you know, if we learn to pay attention, that's the big thing. Where would you say, how much of a fight did you put on the whole paying attention front as a kid, teenager, young adult? Where were you sort of 50-50? And then now today, would you say you're sort of on board? Like the universe doesn't have to try as hard to reach you. It doesn't take, for me, I mean, it could have been 50 attempts 10, 20 years ago, and maybe now it's only 20 attempts to reach me. You know, hello. Where would you describe yourself, you know, as a kid, teenager, young adult? Are you super receptive now when the universe reaches out?
It's way better than it was before, for sure. But I know I still have some work to do. It's kind of like cleaning up your system a bit, and that's still in process. But I am way more aware than I used to be, relatively. Like I can compare only with myself, like where I was before and where I'm at now. But I do see that I still have a long way to go. There's more I can get better at. But I'm grateful for where I'm at now compared to where I was, because now I think one thing about knowing yourself is as you know more about yourself, you also are more in tune with how people around you are like, and more in tune with some of these dynamics that happen in the social world.
Yes, good point. Can you share with us the cultural influences, the regions, the countries, the figures, and also how that's shifted or expanded? Because, I mean, there are so many different cultural figures, influences, philosophies, spirituality. I'm skipping something, religions, and so on. Where were you? Where are you? But how have you been just maybe adding to the mix over time?
Yeah, I love learning from many different cultures. I feel like there's so much richness you can get when you are when you are open to different cultures, different figures from all cultures. So that's why I've been trying to merge from both like Eastern world as well as Western world. I keep an open mind to both and learn from both worlds as much as I can. And I'm lucky because I was able to experience life in East as well as in West. So even with from living experience wise, it's been a good merge of living in two very different cultures. So when it comes to figures, most recently, like I've been from Western world, I really like Carl Jung, Rudolf Steiner, and Ken Wilber. And from Eastern world, Sri Aurobindo is amazing, Patanjali. But I want to learn from more figures, but there's so much to learn, but these few figures have been a big influence on me. I'm looking forward to learn more from some of these personalities.
Is there a specific quote, a specific mantra, or just a specific sort of reminder you like from any of those figures, or for some of the classics, whether it's Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, Einstein, Mary, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, whoever? Is there a favorite couple of reminders you like to try to keep here as you go through week to week in life?
It keeps changing because as I grow as a person, like some of the insights, they keep becoming more and more deeper. So currently, like I've been interested in like this merging of polarities, the within yourself, like the masculine side and the feminine side. You can find both those polarities within yourself and to be able to merge that and find a good balance. I'm really interested in that kind of work.
And then the flip side of that coin is there's a lot of rituals, a lot of practices. It could be just lighting a candle, lighting incense, just saying something to clear your home or your apartment when you've had a long week, maybe a lot of guests from out of town. There's a lot of energy that doesn't need to be there anymore. And so there's a million practices. Can you share with us something that you really believe in? It could be about gratitude, appreciation, allowing. What is something you personally do either daily, weekly, that makes sense for you?
For me, the most that, and I know for different people it's different. For me, the most that works is becoming aware about something is the first step to be able to cleanse something. Because sometimes, like many times, like even not, if you're in a vague state where you are not even aware about a problem is there, or not even aware that there's some kind of energetic thing that is blocking you, it's hard to cleanse that. So first step is becoming aware. To me, many times just becoming aware has kind of healed a lot of issues. So awareness, I feel, is like a strong component in healing. Apart from awareness, contemplation and getting clarity of the situation, I feel like, so awareness and contemplation have been two things for me that I have benefited a lot from.
Now, this is a quick one. You don't have to answer, but it's two-part and very quick. How many languages do you speak, and do you hear enough physically that you get it in multiple languages, or is it more a vibration and you just know what it means? Either any way you want to answer that or don't answer it.
I can speak 4 languages and speak and understand 4 languages. Yeah, I'm very vibration based person. It's for vibration speaks a lot more strongly than words. Yeah, I think that's been my most like that's been kind of like foundation for me. Then anything that appears physically, visually, or sound wise.
Does this extend to like just walking into a room, a supermarket, an aisle? If you're trying to decide, do I go get the eggs, or do I go get the biscuits, or do I go get the soup? And your intuition's kicking in pretty often, yes?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I'm happy to speak with you about it because you understand those things but it's a bit difficult to share that in like real world with most people.
What's cool though is athletes have it, and it's what makes them so great on the pitch, the field, whatever sport we're talking about. On the pool table, they can run the pool table. Musicians, artists, even good business people, when they have a good business instinct, they do a really good job. They get yeses all the time. They close the deal. I'd argue it's a lack of understanding that it's, not just one quadrant. Apply it to your relationships, having fun. So let's have you. How would you describe your little voice, your intuition? Super nice, loving, and extra vibes. Is there a compliment you could give your intuition?
It's a lot more wiser than me.
That was a good one. Yes, and that's very cool. I wouldn't have thought of saying it that way, and I like it. Very cool. Is there a favorite book of yours or a few books that you like to keep around that you'll love to go back to anytime you need to just curl up with a book that you've read it before? What gives you comfort to just randomly open the page in the book? Is there an author that you absolutely love, or a few?
Yeah, there are a couple of them. It's been Sri Aurobindo's Life Divine and Carl Jung. I love them, and also Ken Wilber. I feel like some of the insights shared in some of the books by them, it's very comforting.
Very cool. And if we're lucky, maybe we'll blow some sage through 2 screens. That's the minimum we do on this show, and then you get to smell sage. Now, just a quick reveal. I do this with the guests before the show just to make sure our plumbing, electricity is functioning, so both of us aren't caught off guard. So we might have done that before the show already, but if we're lucky, maybe Carl Jung, or I'll throw myself under the bus. You don't have to do anything. I'll put my fingers up and you can see light on my fingers. And folks at home though should take solace, take comfort, take joy in the idea that they can do any of this if they just don't attach any importance to it. You get out of the head into the heart. And that was the next question. You're really good, if I can compliment you as show host with the guest. Usually it's the other way around for you. You're the show host. You're really good at dropping here. Can you give us a clue or a hint, or talk to us about how much time have you spent meditating and other stuff that gives you a like laser-like focus? Like literally when you want to go to here, you're not going to get distracted. I can tell people that right now. So that's a compliment. What can you tell us about what language do you use, lingo, culturally, phenomenally, spiritually, to describe your journey from here to here, so you can kind of connect to everything?
I do meditate every day for like 10 minutes, not super intense. 2 types of meditation. One is like just basic, focusing on the breath and just trying to calm your mind. Very simple meditation. And second is chanting something that some words that have strong vibration with you. Chanting, and based on like the energy that you want to connect with. Maybe it's energy, healing energy, or energy that's strengthening and empowering to you. So based on what I need for the day, I try to chant those words.
And is there an example you can share from the last couple of years that's a specific one so that the listener, the viewer can relate specifically?
For what chant, what words?
Yep.
One I could share is Om Surya Namaha. Because sun, Surya means sun, and sun is has some healing powers to not only heal physically, but also heal some of your mental confusion and energetic confusion. It's not so it is powerful to heal at many different dimensions and levels. So that's something I use as a healing thing, especially if I need mental clarity on something. So Om Surya Namaha is one example.
Beautiful. In 10 years, if someone told you you were going to have a shingle out, in addition to the day job, which you're fantastic at as a software engineer, if someone told you were going to have a shingle out and just do a little on the weekends or in the evenings here and there as a healer, what type of healer would you have to guess now? This is 10 years in the future. Could you envision taking some sort of a role helping others? I mean, I think you already do with the show as a show host, Infinite Being TV. Would you want to comment on a particular area that right now you might be able to feel comfortable with?
Which area I would be working in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really interested in what the current work that I'm doing, and hopefully in next 10 years, take it to the level where it's not just conversations, but there's actually enough proof that this type of work does transform a person mentally, psychologically, heal them, and open up sort of a new dimension for them to grow from. So yeah, I'm just leaving it as unknown right now and see how next 10 years unfold. But I'm following the passion and let it answer it for me, rather than me trying to force some kind of like me trying to put any constraint on how it looks like 10 years.
I love it. Okay, I'm going to read 3 quotes randomly drawn from like maybe 18 pages of quotes. Now, it could be from an angel, it could be Einstein, it could be Eckhart Tolle, who knows? I don't know until I do it. Winnie the Pooh is on this list as well. We'll just get your either feedback, commentary. You could ignore 2 and just talk about 1. It might just generate a whole new left field direction that you want to talk about. It just reminded you of a trip that you took. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever comes up, comes up. But here are your 3 quotes. Okay. Funny. Albert Einstein. Our task must be to free ourselves by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. Okay. Wayne Dyer, maxim for life, or a reminder. You get treated in life the way you teach people to treat you. And here we go. The golden rule, Buddha. Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule. What stood out to you?
Wayne Dyer. Can you repeat that quote again?
Maybe. People treat you the way you teach them to treat you.
Yes, absolutely. It's very interesting you say that in this show, because just recently I had been contemplating about this idea of, for example, usually when someone manipulates you or when someone treats you badly, your focus is on that person, that they did something. But lately it's been switching for me, where I'm seeing that I allowed it. I allowed them to manipulate me, or I allowed them to treat me badly. So it's it's taking that responsibility that I need to set those boundaries and I need to teach them how to treat me. So it's very empowering when that switch happens, where rather than making it about them, you kind of take charge of how you allow others to treat you.
Yes. Okay, are you ready for a little bit of sage? I'm just gonna, for the folks at home watching, listening, and so on, and this could be 2028. Time and space doesn't matter the way you think it does. Relax about what we think we know, because this isn't about more thinking, it's about less thinking. Let me think what else I can say. No time, no limits. Look, you knew no limits as a kid. And if there are no limits in life, maybe there are really no limits. I'm gonna light some sage. It's Juniper Ridge, the California company. You can still find it, I think, in all the Whole Foods. It used to be $2 a bundle. I think it's more like $12 a bundle now. The website's on my website. I'm not sponsored or receive any commission, although I'm working on that. We'll see. I'm lighting some sage, and give yourself permission to let go. I almost forgot the most important thing. Ask angels, the universe, unconditional love to step in, help you out of your head, into the heart, so you can smell without smelling, the Zen thing. It's really your heart doing all the connecting. Here's some sage smoke, red-tailed hawk feather, and now I'm whooshing it Suma's way. Suma, are you catching a little bit of lit sage smoke? Cool. Anybody at home who wants to go double, or how do I say this? Instead of linear, I mean, obviously sage, duh. Ask for flowers. And I remember when Lorna Byrne, the Irish angel mystic in Ireland at the time, said to me, Mike, I'm not smelling sage. And I was like, oh my God, I hid the shock. And then she quickly followed up with, I'm smelling daisies and roses. And I was like, still haven't struck out yet. Okay, so are you getting any flowers as well on top of it?
I'm getting everything, flowers, ocean.
And ocean was the third thing. We did it before the show. And so, like, let's just do this as an example for everybody. I would just, I'll do it two ways. You're looking down at your toes all day long. I'm not being literal, otherwise you'd walk into everything, but that would be thinking. You look down at your toes. Walk with your head high, and in your own authenticity, as Suma, I think, is really good at, dropping into her heart, and just own your presence, and everything else sorts itself out. Self-love, whatever you want to call it, being. And that is what we're talking about for this. It comes to you as a result of getting out of here, dropping to here. Go from the west to the east. Let's make a pun. I've never said that before. There's one more way to look at this. Music. You had a favorite song in sixth form, sixth grade, when you were 18, a band. You were dying for the next album to drop. And there's one song you listened to for 6 months in a row. It was your favorite. Did the song ever change? No. Have you listened to it in the last 10 years? No. Adulting kicked in, and you're now firmly up here when it comes to music. How many concerts have you been to lately? Do you still follow? Do you even know who your top 5 bands are? Do you have 5 new bands from the last 2 years? It's a bit like learning how to drive. You were excited or you were super scared, but we'll stick to the excited experience. You're 12, 13, 14, 15. You want to drive. Your older siblings already know how to drive. You think it's the coolest thing in the world. And when you learn how to drive, you jingle the keys for a whole week, month, 2 years, maybe, if you're really excited. You let people know you're going driving, and then now flash forward to you're 25, 35, 45 years old on an LA freeway. I doubt you're excited about driving. Maybe you're noticing a red-tailed hawk if you're stuck in traffic. That's only 1 out of 200 of you. The rest of us are up here, upset, reacting, rejecting, resisting. Can you talk to us a little bit about the state of this versus the state of this? How are you seeing it reflected in your guests or in you as you go through week to week in your life? How are you appreciating this more? But you got to use all your lingo and the way you talk.
Wow, that's a big question. It's work on a daily basis. And for me, as I shared before, contemplation has been a big one to kind of bridge that gap between this and your heart on a daily basis. I'm very observant about how I'm feeling and about how are the dynamics of people around me. And this work that I do of conversations with people in spiritual realm has been the core for bringing all that and grounding that to some extent, because people like us who work in this realm, we tend to be more focused around settling that energy and settling the gap between the mind and the heart. So I'm grateful for this work, because even if it's a simple conversation, it still grounds you in some ways. So apart from doing this on regularly, for me, meditation and contemplation has been a way to ground and bridge that gap between heart and mind. And I do notice that it's changing even in the regular world, where people are taking these things a lot more seriously, because before it used to be brushed off as something that's not useful or something that's irrational. But even in workplaces now, I'm seeing that people appreciate things like having like work-life balance and not putting that off. So I do see some differences that are changing in the world, although it's slow, it is happening, and hopefully in next 5-10 years it will be even more than where it's at now. And when it comes to the spiritual realm, there's some really exciting work going on. I'm positive about where things are going. And I feel like YouTube as a platform has really opened up a great way to be able to take this small niche that we kind of have on YouTube. In a way, we are working as a group, although we have separate channels.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. You can finish off. Sorry, I cut you off.
And I'm curious to see what happens over next few years. I feel like something will open up through all these YouTube collaborations that are happening on separate channels.
Okay, now here's a out of left field question, because you're outstanding in your field, with sunflowers and everything, and you're doing great. But if your company and a university decided to surprise you, they're like, we're giving you a 4-week sabbatical, that's from your company side, and the university is like, and we're funding you $250,000. We just want Suma to go have a great time in terms of a spiritual experience, a cultural experience somewhere around the globe. It could be Machu Picchu, a temple in India. It could be Cambodia, a Buddhist temple there. It could be anything. But you can only choose one spot. You have to spend all the money, meaning the flights, whatever, this, that. Maybe you're hiring the best guru around, or just finding the best guru. Let the universe help you. What do you think your destination would be? Where would you go? Is it Kathmandu, Nepal, India, Sri Lanka? Where would you go if you could only pick one spot, though?
I have been very interested in interviewing people at the sacred sites at some point, all the sacred sites in the world. That's been my dream. But if I had to pick only one, I would be interested in pyramids in Egypt.
Okay. Beautiful. With your permission, I'm going to ask you about the show and your guests. When people are watching this, they're going to hopefully check out your channel, Infinite Being TV, on YouTube, and it's Suma Gowda, SUMAGOWDA. Which one show or two is a surefire one that they should check out to have interest for checking out all of the videos? Who would you pick as the 2 guests, the 1 guest, the 3 guests that are absolutely fun?
Oh, that's a tough one, because I liked everyone that I interviewed. It's been a very terrific experience, and they all have in some ways contributed towards my own opening. If I had to pick only 2, I think I would pick Billy Doyle, who's based in the UK. He has written books on non-duality, and he's a yoga teacher. He's brilliant, and the way he shared some of his insights on non-duality, I think it's worth checking out. And also Tony Parsons, he's also based in the UK. If anyone is interested in non-duality, I highly recommend checking out those two videos.
Well, you generated the next question by mentioning those folks. Okay, I've got a quote. I never pronounce things just right, but this will still work out. Siddhakatrapa said this, I don't remember the date. It was 700 BC or 700 AD, I think 700 BC, something like that. Here's the quote. Whatever the yogin sees is his instruction and realization that all he sees is unborn. That is the most excellent guru. Innocence is the way to realize non-duality, for here the effects of virtue and vice are one. And I'll give you an old Irish proverb as well. We learn you learn a fence needs mending after the sheep have run away. So you got an easy out with the Irish proverb, and you've got a beautiful quote on non-duality. Is there something that jumps out at you from either quote? You learn a fence needs mending after the sheep have run away. That's the way I do my learning. Way slow, way after the fact, and when it's time. And then I love that non-duality quote. I think I wrote it down in 1992, and I didn't understand what non-duality was until 2011. So it only took me, I didn't have anybody to call, didn't have a Buddhist professor or a non-duality teacher anywhere, and wasn't smart enough to just get the elbows out and start looking it up. Okay, what's your reaction to either of those quotes?
For the non-duality one, do you mind reading it once again?
Sure, it's a beautiful quote. Okay, Siddhakatrapa, whatever the yogin sees is his instruction, and realization that all he sees is unborn. That is the most excellent guru. Innocence is the way to realize non-duality, for here the effects of virtue and vice are one. Yes.
The non-duality one for sure, it speaks closely for me, because I feel like until that non-dual realization, your mind is always in that dualistic world where right or wrong, good, bad, and it's always trying to label things, and once that falls away and that non-dual realization occurs, there's so much lightness in that, rather than being engaged in the mind that's busy trying to label everything and try to compartmentalize everything, that this is bad, this is good, this is bad. And so that's why I highly recommend looking into non-duality. And it also has its own I don't know what to say, so it can also have its own traps. So, and everything has its own traps, no matter how good it or valuable it is. So you have to kind of gauge based on your own instincts, what works for you, what doesn't. But I think for most, for the spiritual work, I feel like non-dual realization is kind of the first step. Because until then, your mind is busy making stories and busy being engaged with those stories. And non-duality collapses all that. And after that, the real work begins.
Love it. And Lisa Cairns in the UK has just interviewed, for those watching, I think it would be June of 2024. She's a non-duality teacher. People can check her out. She gave an excellent interview. I would remark that if there are 1,500 to 40,000 different communities of thought or philosophy or religion or spirituality or culture, I don't know what to call it, humans getting together to row in the same direction, it would be pretty fantastic, because I think they're all pointing in the same direction, maybe to here or to universal love, or just continued growth and expansion in a positive way for everybody. It would be incredible if somehow we knew every 12 months to take a little break, a sabbatical, and do 2 months of one of the other groups to see how it changes things up and forces us to maybe keep opening beyond what we thought was possible. That'd be exciting. Are you up for doing maybe 2 angels, like a Joy and a Charlotte, or a Joy, Charlotte, and Min, Carl Jung, Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, and then that's probably it. I'll put a photo up. You can feel this way. You can get a topic idea. You can get an answer. Keep it to yourself. You can share anything you want. Is that okay if I put a couple photos up? Okay.
Sure.
And now at home, hey, I got lucky with the camera. It's light energy form, but if they're historical photos can wink, smile, move. Same thing with the light energy photos. Whatever you're going to allow for, it's like normal life. Forget the woo spiritual stuff we're talking about. What are you allowing for? It's kind of like the music scene again. So when we get to Carl Jung, you could maybe catch a pipe smell or let him wink or smile more in the photo. Your brain, great chance to meet the ego. Your brain will be like, I didn't just see that, or I didn't just smell that. And your heart's like, oh, wow, I just had a moment. And that's all this is about, is maybe walking a smoother path, enjoying a little in the moment. And Suma, here's the very first photo. It's an angel, Joy. She's the emotion joy, a pink light. And she, for folks out there, she's the ambassador communicator. Just like, let her do the heavy lifting. You don't have to do anything. It's your birthday, New Year's, your anniversary, Boxer Day, and July 4th, all wrapped up into one. Just receive. It's your special day. From Joy, you can put a hand out. You can feel a hug on your person. Ask her a private question. It could be, hey, what should I talk to everybody about? And she'll remind you. Or you can get a mantra from her that we could all use daily. And if you want to catch flowers or an incense smell that's different than what we did before, she'll surprise you. And for folks at home, breathe, breathe, breathe. No try Yoda. I will do Yoda's voice if I need to distract you, but your heart already knows what to do. You're like a Major League Baseball player, a golfer that just knows how to swing the club. Trust more, don't think as much. Okay, Suma, what do you get for us?
I got silence.
Like stillness, silence?
Stillness, silence.
Nice. Okay, I'll put...
Light, it was
yeah.
like, it was light. It felt light.
Good. And yeah, I'll make sure you get tons of time to respond. Sorry about that. Charlotte is everybody's favorite school teacher from 3rd form, 3rd grade, with words meant to help you expand. She's super, like, older in her 50s and super been around the block. Lots of experience to share. And you can feel this way, feel down your back, ask for a wind in the room. There's 1 million ways to interact. It's just energy, or I should say love. And love is really big. I think it was Joseph Campbell who talked about consciousness is all around. It's energy, it's love. And Suma, what are you getting from Charlotte?
So I'm getting, I should pull a card that I have in the front and read. Is
Absolutely.
that okay?
Yeah, this is your show. You do it your way.
So it says, your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring.
I like it. I like it. Okay, the 3rd angel, final angel, and then we'll go to some historical figures. Min, light waves of energy and water, a soft-spoken professor, a little bit of Hawaiian spirituality in her. Anybody who wants to catch the ocean, I know Americans love shutting their eyes to listen or to smell, so do it. But maybe leave your hand up or turn your hand up in your lap. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's through 2 screens. Who cares? Think of it when the old phones were around, before cell phones, or even with cell phones. You think of someone, they're calling you when you're calling them. And in the old days, you could pick up and the other person was on the line. And you're like, whoa. And that's all we're talking about, is that big synchronicity in the sky or in the heart that's called love. And that kind of connects everyone, no matter how much you think it doesn't. What are you getting from Min? And you can get an exotic ocean smell. Suma, we know you're hyper talented, but we won't get into details. What are you getting from Min?
For smell,
Any which way.
I'm getting trees and mountains.
Nice. I will put up Carl Jung because you mentioned him a few times. And I'll put up Patanjali. I can never pronounce his name correctly. All I have is a statue figure of him, but it'll work. So you'll be patient with me as I find that photo. First, Carl Jung, because he's easy. He's got a beautiful photo. Oh my God, what humor and what spark of life in this. And he'll definitely give you something super direct and incredible. What are you getting?
To listen to my subconscious.
Of course, he'd say subconscious. I love that. That's very funny. Okay, now I'm looking for a little. Oh, I got it. Yeah. Yeah, I found it. Wow, I got so many photos in this thing that should have taken me another 5 minutes. Okay. Patanjali, if I said it correctly. Patanjali.
Patanjali.
Thank you. So in your heart, so are people at home. If people at home want to catch an exotic Indian incense, absolutely. If you want to kind of tune out like a really boring, exciting professor's talking, let's make it exciting. I like that. You can start to see a little bit of light left and right in your room. It could look like incense smoke from India. You might as well smell it, but you might as well see it. And if there's no limits in life, why not ask the universe to really deliver the goods and catch an experience right now? Meanwhile, he's an incredible, oh my God, I'm going to lose all my words. He's a great expert, period, on the human condition and more. And Suma, it's all you now. What are you getting from him?
I'm getting love and acceptance.
Oh, good. I'm going to do the tiger that goes with the Divine Mother and Jaguar spirit for you. For some reason, you're getting two, and then we're all done with that. And the tiger is super fantastic. Again, the one that the Divine Mother rides on. The tiger's on everyone's team. Action, action, action. Super soft spoken, super soft fur is what I meant. Anybody who wants to put their hand out into the room and like you own a big dog walking by, you can feel the fur on your hand. But for you, Suma, yep, any which way. Can you get one reminder about life walking your path from the divine tiger?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, just a reminder for all of us on our unique life path, how to live more, love more. Good.
Good. Was it a question or you were?
Just whatever the tiger had for you to share with us as a reminder.
Okay. A reminder. Can we do this again? I wasn't sure if it was a question or a statement.
Sure, sure. Whatever you get and you want to share. But here's the tiger again, pure action on everyone's team. This is from India, and it's definitely a cultural, not like a spirit animal, more like a deity. And again, action, action, action. You can hear a tiger roar in the distance if you close your eyes and you're super sensitive. You can feel a thick jungle from India, the highest vibration of India coming in. It's up to you. Each person watching or listening can just let go and feel what you feel. Don't judge is the key. Suma, what are you getting for us from the tiger?
I'm getting to be courageous to speak your truth.
Nice. Okay, now we're back to a normal interview. That was the crazy, crazy stuff. That's all over. And at home, yeah, and at home, play it over or go play around on the website. Generally, in all the shows, we do something. I don't think there's been more than one show where I didn't do anything. And there was another show, the guy was wonderful. Off camera, he or she off camera did everything better than a professional intuitive does. And I was so shocked and so pleased, and such a nice man or woman that I was so thrilled. I forgot to do anything on the show, just sheerly out of my being clueless. So it's a lot of people doing a lot of steps. So Suma, thank you for coming on and doing all that. I think it's brave. I think it's natural. I think it's you showing love, not just to yourself, but all of us, and allowing us to feel more comfortable in our hearts. So I can't thank you enough for taking those steps. I'm going to read a list of words. These are the classic words in spirituality. Some are Eastern and so on. probably about 15 or 20 words. And then if you could take us in a particular direction that resonates. Angels, positivity, love. Ah, I get my list. Angels, positivity, and love. Okay. And by the way, positivity is abundance. Okay. Angels, positivity, love, kindness, attention, compassion, appreciation, gratitude, allowing all, opening openness, and finally, remember to remember, if you can remember to remember, when you remember. What stands out of all of that that you can talk to us about?
What I'm getting is to surrender your concerns, and miracles will follow.
Nice. Okay, where have you seen, and we're wrapping up here, so just a few more things and give us a last little bit we can look forward to for the rest of the year. Next year, is there a book coming one day? We'll see. Where have you seen the equivalent of a miracle, a city, SIDDHI, or just something where you're like, you know, I normally approach it, all of us approach it up here thinking, but you were like, no, I've learned. I need to be here and let the universe do its job. Can you share with us one of those moments that's not too private or not too business, where the universe actually stepped in and you were like, whoa, this worked, or amazing?
Yeah, absolutely. One clear miracle that I have experienced is with my cat. I had my cat passed away about 2 years ago, and I loved my cat. She was so close to me. Like she was, it's hard to explain like the connection I had with her. Like it's unconditional love. And when I lost her, I was really devastated because I had never experienced that level of love before, and I felt really kind of a bit betrayed by universe, that if she could have lived a few more years, like what harm could that have done? That was my question, big question for the universe. That's how much I loved her, but just couple of the day she died, I had this dream where she came back running to me, and she came back running to me, and she was this, but when she came back, I was like, why is she orangish? She looks orangish in this dream. I didn't understand that dream in the moment, but an year or so later, I ended up adopting another cat that spontaneously kind of came into my life, and she was an orangish cat, and there's absolutely no difference and I know some could say that I'm projecting, but there's no difference between her and the cat that passed away. It's almost like she put on an orangish coat and came back into my life again. So for me, it has been a big lesson, because she taught that life and death is so easy, come and go kind of an event. And she showed it in such a like playful way. So she's my teacher.
Love it. I'm going to put up 3 angels. I lied. We're not quite done. You're not allowed to share anything out loud, and no one will know what you did with these 3 angels. But here's something about your cat. Just give us a thumbs up when you're done. Here are 3 angels. Here's something about your cat. It's all private. You're not allowed to share anything out loud. It's strictly for your benefit. And you got it okay, right?
Yes.
Good. Nice. Okay. What's a final reminder for everyone? We all think it's difficult. We all think we have to go achieve, or we're stuck on failure. So there's achievements, there's failures, there's a lot of details. And then there's love is love. And it's a little simpler when you're here. You seem to be practicing that, or at least set on allowing for that to be the case, which then allows everything to unfold, even in a more perfect universal fashion. What could be more fun? Can you share with us some sort of a reminder about all of us, you know, a little less accelerating, a little less thinking, a little more being?
A reminder for what could
for daily living, for all of us, what do we need to just keep in mind? How simple, it's a really big universe, but it's also really simple. What's the patented Suma Gauda speech here at the end to remind us to live more and have more fun?
I would say to dissolve that attachment to all these labels of beauty or ugliness or good or bad, right or wrong, to dissolve the rigidity of those labels and just be present. Not trying to make anything positive or negative, but just being present with what is. I feel like that kind of loosens up a lot of things than having like tight, rigid ideas about this should not be here or this should be this way. There's a lightness to not attaching any meaning to the present moment.
Beautiful. Well, Suma Gowda, Infinite Being TV, show host on YouTube. You can just look up Suma Gowda's name. It's SUMAGOWDA. Infinite Being TV at Infinite Being TV would be the handle on YouTube. She's got 13,500 subscribers, 250 videos, and an amazing, serious, very serious, like repertoire, client list, guest list, whatever you want to call it, but some really established folks and some deep discussions. So put the seatbelt on, head over there, and make sure you check out her channel. Subscribe, like, comment while you're there. And don't forget to do the same on this channel. It's the only way it gets out. By the way, public service announcement, except that you're already seeing this in the future. So you've already figured this out, but it was back in June of 2024 that we switched to 3 shows a week, and we booked out the whole rest of the year. So hopefully you're enjoying that. I should have mentally broken though by January and go back to 1 or 2 shows in 2025. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. Got to take it all one step at a time, as Suma is reminding us. Suma Gowda, thank you for being on Angels, Positivity, and Love. You're incredible. Really appreciate you being on. And maybe you'll come back the end of next year to catch us up on how things are going.
Would love to. And I want to interview you on my channel. So next time it's your turn.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
I really appreciate you, Michael. I appreciate how flexible, fun, and spontaneous you are. I had a lot of fun in this conversation.
Well, then I forgot one thing. I said I was going to do it. Is it okay if I just show my light? You don't have to do anything but see from the heart, and the audience at home. I've already done this a lot of times, and there's people who put comments saying I either smelled the lavender if it was supposed to smell flowers, or the sage, or angel stuff, or light. This should be kindergarten. I'll do it this way. You're seeing it all the time, but all the adulting and the brain stuff blocks it out. It's how you just get a vibe on a situation, you know, not to go down that alleyway, or you know what's going on at the workplace and why you shouldn't do it at this time. It's the timing, the inner voice, but it's also at the supermarket. You go to get the milk, 2 guys are arguing and it feels heavy over there. You're like, oh, I'll go get my vegetables now. I'll come back and get my refrigerated goods later. And it makes sense too. So you come back and the energy's dissipated. I would just argue, if you slow your roll even more and ask the universe to come in, you'll see it first thing in the morning. You don't have to do it this way. Wake up first thing in the morning and you don't remember your name. You haven't had tea, you didn't brush your teeth, and you haven't had a thought yet. You'll need a little sticky or post-it note though on your poster bed to say light bulb. You got recessed lights, hot lights, I think they're called, somewhere in the house. The kitchen, the bathroom, usually these days, everyone's got at least one. Hustle out of your bed, breathe, 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 look at it. You'll see a beach ball of rainbow light as big as this big. You'll go, ooh, pretty, like out of Shrek, the gingerbread man, the way he talks. You'll just be like, oh, so pretty. But then your brain has to show up. It's about controlling everything and limiting you all the time. Trust me. And at that point, your brain says, what am I looking at? It might be like, okay, it's pretty, but what am I looking at? It'll shrink a little. And if you can take some more breaths, there's people who can keep it going for 15 minutes or all day long. But eventually your thinking's going to chop away at the situation and start judging it. It's going to shrink and shrink and shrink, and then it's gone. It's just another way to do it. And I stalled so that everyone can get comfortable. Ask your angels, ask the universe to get you out of your head into your heart. You're going to see a little light between 2 of my fingers in India, parts of India. They do it this way. In Celestine Prophecy, the movie, they do it this way. And everyone give yourself a big break. If you have to do something to shake or shimmy, just to loosen up at your end, you're seeing with your heart, doing the Zen thing, seeing with all of you. And you'll see a little bit of light between my fingers, and everyone gets a dad joke, Bert and Ernie, Sesame Street. You don't have to remember who they are. Bert offers Ernie ice cream. What's Ernie say? He says, sherbet. Okay, not the best joke, but you'll see a little light flowing between my fingers. It'll be gray, white, yellow, gold, 15 colors at once, rainbow light. What color do you see, Suma, between my fingers?
Light.
Is it like a white light, a clear light?
A clear light.
Cool. And I'm just going to breathe a little more and I'll tell a joke properly because I messed that one up a little bit. Why did the rabbit fall down that well? He didn't see that well. And now what are you seeing?
I'm still seeing the light.
Perfect. People at home can play it. It's just go for a walk, play your favorite music, make a cup of tea. Let's take all the spirituality out, the woo-woo, the universe, this country, that country, cultural, religious philosophy. What are you allowing for daily? I'll leave people with a final reminder on that. Just allow for more. Who knows what it looks like? Good luck doing a little less adulting to be here more, but that's what we all have the opportunity to do. Suma, I'm a huge fan of yours. I got to thank you back for coming on the show and you being you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. This was so fun, and yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and I'm very much looking forward to interview you next time because I feel like you have a lot to share, and I'm very interested in doing a deeper dive in your own journey, how you got started. It's exciting to me too. I'm very much looking forward to hear on that.
I can't wait. Suma Gowda on Angels, Positivity, and Love. Amazing. Check out our channel, Infinite Being TV on YouTube. You're fantastic. Suma, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Michael, and thanks to your audience.